Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're here with another multiplayer game, so you guys can stop saying that I hate multiplayer. But yeah, today I'll be playing as Khorne, with my opponent being War Master Moloch playing as the Lizardmen. He is a smaller channel, smaller creator, but a lovely friend of the channel. He's been a good friend for many, many years. His channel's linked below. But we've got the Khornate warriors, well, Khorne monogod, mostly just warriors at this point, versus the Lizardmen. And I have a rather small force, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of the new stuff for Khorne is horrendously expensive. So I've got the Bloodspeaker, brand new Lord option, which is a generic support character. We've got Skarr Bloodwrath, a new legendary hero. 3 units of Marauders with additional hand weapons, 2 units of Skull Reapers, 1 unit of Wrathmongers, a unit of Blood Beasts of Khorne, and finally a Slaughter Brute, coming in with as much death and destruction as possible. I really wanted to highlight as many of the Khornate guys as I could. War Master Moloch is coming in with the Lizardmen, where he's got 2 units of the Chameleon Skink Stalkers at the very back, trying to get behind me. 2 units of Chameleon Skinks also in the far side of the map, just trying to shoot at me when possible. He's got a lot of Saurus Warriors. 2 with Spears, 3 with Sword and Shield, 2 units of Blow Dart Skinks also, a Stegodon, and finally a unit of Cold One Riders, who are hiding within the trees. His character choices are a Skink Spellcaster and also Gorok. So he's quite varied and he's got quite a lot of units, a lot more than I do unfortunately, but it's a lot cheaper to bring in Skinks. The Skinks are very, very powerful, but we're going to try and see what we can do over here. It's going to be a fun battle. He's got the advantage of some trees to cover him. I'm just going straight in because a Khorne army is there to be as aggressive as possible. I am an aggressive type of player, whereas Moloch prefers more defensive play. And also, I will want to state here that none of us are multiplayer players. We're doing this for fun. So, very different style of play. I'm trying to get there. I'm always going to be at a disadvantage here because I have to move my troops a lot more than he does, so my troops will tire out. There is also the fact that there's a mountain here, which, well, it's more like a hill, but it was kind of frustrating. We realized a bit too late, but we decided, yeah, let's just keep going because why not, right? We had done a lot of battles. There's quite a few recorded, actually. But yeah, not a lot of movement from the Lizardmen for a lot of time, and it's mostly just going to be my troops coming in, smashing their way as fast as possible. I need to get there fast before I take too much damage from the Skinks. The Chameleons are going to be faster than most of my troopers, and I don't want my Slaughter Brute getting bogged down here. I want the Slaughter Brute going up there to deal with as much as we can. I'm going to try and get around with my Blood Beasts because they are fairly decent, but there is a decent amount of anti-large in this Lizardmen army. I know I'm going to be taking a lot of heavy hits before I get there. The blow darts are going to do a lot of damage. You can see them coming in already and shooting at the Slaughter Brute, so I'm going to try and get him away. And the Stegodon does do a decent amount of fire, not a lot of missile resistance here. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, well, why didn't you bring demons? And the fact of the matter is, that's like the Wrathmongers and the Skull Reapers are so expensive, I would not be able to bring that much. So I figured we'll bring a full mortal contingent. It works on campaign, not so much maybe in multiplayer. The straight line is coming in. We're just going to charge in. I've got no defensive line. It's literally just additional hand weapons, additional hand weapons, additional hand weapons. The Slaughter Brute, however, is going to go directly for the Stegodon. If I can take that out, it will make my life a lot easier. As my Lord is still alive, the Slaughter Brute is not going to break or anything. So he can afford to take a few shots. Not a lot, but a decent amount. And it is pretty damn cool. Like, let's admit, here, it's probably one of the better looking units in the DLC in terms of just visuals. So the big boy is fighting, and the Marauders and all the other Chaos Warriors are coming in shortly behind. My Skull Reapers charging in. I'm trying to ignore Gorok, and there's a big reason for that. I wanted to see how well Skarr Bloodwrath is going to be able to do versus Gorok. And let me just tell you, oh my god, he knows how to kill characters. I think that's the big thing that Skarr does. You can see him down here. He is absolutely punishing Gorok. Gorok getting a few hits in, but not that many. The damage output is just absolutely insane, where his health is melting. Look at that. It's just so much quick damage. He's very good at isolating characters and just ripping them to shreds. Not so much for a lot of other stuff, I must admit, although in campaign, if you do boost him up, he does start taking care of full hordes without too much of an issue. So, I've got him going after Gorok. I should have turned around at this point, but hey, I was committed. I was trying to deal with all the other stuff. The Slaughter Brute, even though he's getting hit by very heavy magic, he is resistant to magic, so he is fighting the Stegodon with not that many big problems. We do have all the skinks arriving now though, and this is where some problems are going to start arising. The Saurus Warriors are really good versus Marauders, and even the Skull Reapers too, so when they start getting flanked or even rear charged, they start to break. The Bloodspeaker is perfectly fine and actually handles itself very well despite being a clear weaker version of the Chaos Lord of Khorne. Everything else is trying to fight for dear life. The Slaughter Brute is still able to do a decent amount of damage. Wrathmongers, not so much. They took a lot of hits on the way. Despite having heavy missile resistance, they really were not performing as well as I expected. Then again, this is a unit that costs 1,400, by the way, in multiplayer, which I still find horrendously expensive. I do feel like Creative Assembly are likely going to start reducing prices for Khorne. Skull Reaper's not too bad. Skull Reapers are very, very good at ripping through stuff. Again, a bit too expensive, but only 1,100 compared to the Wrathmongers. I did make the mistake of ignoring the Stegodon. I should have killed it out right as soon as it started breaking. But hey, these things do happen, especially when it's a new form of content. I was trying to just see how much everything else would work. Hell, I didn't even bother too much with the Blood Beasts. But then again, they actually got ripped apart way early into the battle. Not really doing that much. The Saurus with spears taking them out quite quickly. The good thing is, Slaughter Brute is good at killing monsters. It's very, very clear there. So if you want monster killers, if you're playing as the Monogod Khorne, or even as the Warriors of Chaos with Valkyria, you will get access to it, which is quite good. There's the pretty much limit there. When you're getting hit by so many javelins, or even blow darts, you're going to start taking a lot of damage. It does feel like the Chameleon Skinks with blow darts are very, very good at taking it out. Most of my warriors are breaking. It is quite impressive, however, to see that the Bloodspeaker is holding really, really well. AoE damage there, being able to really cause a bit of a problem, but not as much as you would hope. I should have had him mounted, but everything was way too expensive. The little list that I took basically took me down to 0, which does become a bit of a problem. Skarr's still up and running. He's fighting around there. The Slaughter Brute is very close to death. Lizardmen getting a very big advantage here. Again, me running up that hill, tiring out my troops, getting up to him. Versus the defensive player, you're going to be stuck here. I feel like maybe things could have gone a bit better if I would have had some Chaos Flesh Hounds instead of the Blood Beasts, and then maybe a Skull Cannon to start forcing them to come down to me. But hey, this is how we live and learn. Skar's still going to try and kill as much as he can, and the Bloodspeaker is holding out despite having been alone throughout most of the battle. It shows that it's a fairly good leader to stand there by itself, and despite being pummeled by Skinks and Saurus, not breaking until pretty much the very end of the battle. It's a very interesting one. Sure, not the most exciting battle here, but I did want to show off the capabilities of the Slaughter Brute, and this is the only time out of possibly 20 battles that we've done where I was able to showcase Skarr being just so insanely good at killing off characters. The big thing here is, remember that a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here is not going to be compatible to that of campaign if you're a campaign player, because, you know, tech comes into effect, skill lines and all that type of stuff. You can get your characters being a lot stronger, and these units are much more viable in campaign when you're taking them in doom stacks of groups of 20 and stuff like that. It's a very different type of play when it comes to multiplayer. But I must admit I'm having fun with multiplayer. Not a lot of kills on my part. The Slaughter Brute did very, very well. Skull Reapers can do a lot of damage if they get up close, and the Bloodspeaker surprised even me. Overall, I feel like Wrathmongers could do a lot more if they can actually get into combat without getting shot at too much. Their missile resistance isn't that great. Lizardmen played very, very well here. Moloch is a frustrating player to play against when he's back protecting himself all the time rather than actually meeting me in combat. But hey, different players, different styles. That's a really good thing about this game. It tailors to everyone. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below to start a bit of a discussion. I will redeem myself of Khorne as from tomorrow, where I can play Arbal on campaign and we can have a little bit of fun. Have a great one, guys. See you soon.